Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Cancer, August 31, 2022. The moon spends the day in your sector of habits and routines, kindling a real need to set things straight. Things left unfinished or cluttered can appear glaring to you now. As well, your desire to work, perform, serve, and otherwise make yourself useful comes to the fore. Intelligent, curious Mercury begins its transit of your communications sector today, sharpening and enhancing your ability to process information quickly and effectively. You are likely to be quite busy during this cycle, coming up with new ideas, making contact with others, and learning an assortment of new things. You thoroughly enjoy both taking in information and relaying it. There can be times when you feel too busy, or perhaps a little wired or fidgety, to truly relax. However, if you avoid mental strain or stress, you'll reap the rewards of this cycle of information gathering and improved connections. Savvy Mercury will join Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces today, bringing clarity and momentum to your mobile third house of communication, thought process, and immediate surroundings, but rest assured, this has nothing to do with looking at things from a logical standpoint. Despite whether you're single or taken, today's astroweather is encouraging you to tap into your intuition and trust your inner knowing. The moon will also be in detail-oriented Virgo, which contradicts the point of trusting your intuition, so it's an opportunity for you to strike a balance between your logical and intuitive mind. Love isn't just about relying on the facts. Do what feels right. Over the last few weeks, mental Mercury in Virgo encouraged you to think about unique ways to make and budget your money. You could have some ideas left over from this transit that can be pitched while Mercury is in Pisces. If you want to ask for a raise, seek out new opportunities at work, or coordinate with a financial advisor, then now is the time to do it. Fantastical Mercury has a positive tone, instilling your conversations with a sense of hope. You may find that it is even easier to connect with your colleagues during this transit too. Nearly 2 months after first returning to your income sector, Mercury finally leaves today. However, not before leaving you with a smart head for money and the means to keep your head in the game just as you move into the most potentially lucrative weeks of the year. Mercury is the planet that has helped to set things up with Venus and Mars, the planets of money and drive, taking it from here. Use this time to renew contacts with your family. They will be pleased, and you might even be able to resolve old conflicts as a mediator or by taking the first step to clear matters up. The constellation is favorable for burying the hatchet once and for all. Stand up to that authority figure or higher up who's being super stubborn. You know you're in the right, and you have the facts and figures to prove it. Put those debating skills to good use. In touch with your emotions, you are fortunate to be so clear about your feelings, which helps you decide exactly what to do. Whether you are looking for casual dates or interested in starting a more serious relationship, you make the right choice. Start planning how best to pursue your own happiness. You are no stranger to change, but it may take some reining in of your personal power in order to direct your ability to change constructively. Imagine you are both your own father and your own mother, depending on your age. This will be easier or harder to do, and create your boundaries, including your actions and language, your limits in relationships and your requirements on the job. You are also in charge of nurturing yourself with the food, the rest, the exercise, the affection you need to survive. Don't forget to give yourself a lot of positive reinforcement. Being able to recognize when something isn't working, and when it's best to step back, is a sign of professionalism and maturity. If there is a situation in your life like this, you can expect it to be more prominent for you on this day. This essence encourages knowing when to quit and wrapping things up. Be sure that you realize that by respecting your own boundaries, you're a stronger person, not weaker. Be honest with yourself and with those whom you deal with. It might be the weekend, but the stars have aligned on the income and job fronts, and in a way that is giving the other an additional boost. Just having the moon in your income sector during the sun's first and Mercury's last full day in your work sector is advantage enough, but there is already a lot of history between the two. With Mercury already in retrograde motion in your work sector and Saturn just 2 weeks away from turning retrograde in your income sector, the moon is tapping into where the money is and to the new and old doors open on the job front. In between the sun's departure from your romantic sector yesterday and Mercury's return tomorrow, there is not only a chance to pause but to look to the future. With Mercury retrograding back in tomorrow, this will put a lot more focus on the past as you prepare for Venus, the planet of love's return next week and the start of the most romantically charged weeks of 2022. Our eyes in the sky. Venus and Jupiter share a minor aspect, as do the North Node of Destiny in Chiron, creating an intense, goal-oriented vibe. This aspect can stir obsessiveness around status and work, which might verge on the unhealthy due to an opposition with Venus. There is danger that your drive and dedication to accomplish certain things will blind you and throw you off balance when it comes to matters of the heart. Insecurity about failure could be magnified, and trying to calm down could be hard. Your close relationships might not be able to understand or relate to this mental state, and there's a risk that this could cause problems. You also need to keep an eye out for controlling behaviors in others as well as yourself. There is also the potential for issues with maternal figures, so try to avoid any confrontations with your mother. As we move into the afternoon, a quincunx between the North Node and healing asteroid Chiron can inspire us to talk out and work through our issues. Unfortunately, this aspect is choppy, and the disconnect we're feeling with regard to others might not heal as easily as we'd like. Mercury and Uranus share a minor connection, and that combined with the over-the-top energy from Jupiter and Venus could take us to a brink that ends either in a blow-up or an agree-to-disagree handshake. Whichever direction you choose to go, you'll be feeling a lot lighter by bedtime. In the pre-dawn hours, the moon enters Libra, ending its void of course which began last night. Over the next 2 days, we are increasingly preoccupied with achieving peace and harmony in our lives. We now realize that intentions set during the Virgo new moon are only achievable with the help of others. To this end, we seek out relationships with those who share our goals. We should simply be mindful not to adapt our objectives to appeal to social convention. It's possible to attain consensus without sacrificing our own needs. After sunup, the Libra moon aligns with Mercury, making us social. We want to be around people and exchange ideas. Conversations are pleasant but somewhat superficial. We can walk away from a dialogue feeling that we have just spent a good deal of time parroting another's opinions, or that another has done the same to us. There is nothing wrong with agreeing on points, but later in the day, we'll realize that we've talked in circles to avoid stepping on another's toes. That being said, if we are currently fighting over a difference of opinion, a consensus can now be reached.